You probably know GMC best for its pickup trucks, but one of its best-selling vehicles today is actually a crossover SUV. That's the subject of today's video road test, the 2013 GMC Terrain. I'm Marty Paget for High Gear Media, and this week I flew up to Traverse City, Michigan to take a look at the latest GMC Terrain, including the new Denali edition. Now, like on other versions of the Denali, like in the bigger Yukon, this Terrain Denali gets its own trim to soften the blocky, bluff styling a little bit. The Terrain Denali gets its own mesh grille. There's some satin trim all over the mirrors, the door sills, and around the tailgate. And in the cockpit, it has its own seats, some red stitching, a padded dash, and some wood trim on the steering wheel.
Now, like its corporate cousin, the Chevy Equinox, the GMC Terrain comes with a choice of powertrains. There's a base 4-cylinder, it's a 2.4-liter with 182 horsepower. It comes coupled to a 6-speed automatic, and it comes with front-wheel drive or all-wheel drive.
This year, a 3.6-liter V6 replaces the old 3.0-liter V6 and tops out at 301 horsepower, a lot more than last year's 264 horsepower. At the same time, fuel economy remains the same. The V6 version can get up to 1724 miles per gallon, while the 4-cylinder gets up to 21 in the city and 32 on the highway.
Terrain's ride and handling are pretty classic crossover SUV. The steering isn't all that communicative, but it has a pretty good sense of straight ahead on the interstate, and the ride quality is pretty good up to a point too. Now, in most conditions, it smooths out the bumps pretty admirably. On really rough stretches of broken interstates we encountered today, it started to get a little underlying harshness that reminded us more of an old school SUV than a modern crossover.
This year, the Terrain gets a new set of shocks that have two-mode action, which means that they're able to handle a wider variety of road surfaces better. Now, you can tell this when you go into what it can handle off-road. It's able to deal with gravel roads and ruts pretty capably. Now, its all-wheel drive system isn't really meant for the harshest off-roading that some of the bigger SUVs can handle, but it's fine for the kind of trail riding that most users will enjoy. In terms of comfort and utility, the Terrain's one of the better SUVs in its class. There's plenty of room. The Terrain's front seats in the Denali edition are both power, and in the second row, the Terrain has a unique feature like its Equinox cousin. The second row seat actually slides forward and backwards, so you can flex the amount of space available for passengers and for cargo. Of course, when you really need more cargo space, the middle row flips down to create an almost flat load floor. Since it's one of the larger crossover vehicles in the class, you can really fit a lot into the Terrain. The power tailgate helps load. The cargo floor is a little high, but you'd be surprised at what you can fit in and out of it. One thing you'll always bring with you in Michigan in summer? Mosquitoes. The Terrain has great crash test scores and a standard rear view camera. It also has some other great little touches that we like. These rotary steering wheel controls. It also has GMC IntelliLink, its new mobile app and connectivity package. IntelliLink is GMC's connectivity suite. It links mobile apps like Pandora to the Terrain's audio and Bluetooth controls. Now, it's not always easy to get to some of the command menus under the hood that protects the screen from sunlight, but it's one of the simpler systems out there, and it's standard on all Terrains. It also links in with the optional navigation system, which is also inexpensive at about $800. The navigation system also connects with IntelliLink to provide voice-activated controls.
So what's the bottom line with the GMC Terrain? Well, the styling for sure, and sometimes the ride and handling will remind you more of an old school SUV. But the Terrain's interior space is excellent, cargo capacity is great, and the safety features are top-notch and safety scores are too. This year's Denali package adds even more luxury features, and the connectivity of GMC IntelliLink is right up there with other crossovers in its class. I'm Marty Padgett for High Gear Media. Thanks for joining us.